start out first of all, when for each one of you, when you got the script, um, tell me first your thoughts and reading the script, and what did each of you think about it at that point?
I think when I initially got the script, I read it and I'm like, no way, no way. So to see that it was inspired by true events, that was crazy to me because it seemed so absurd, as if it's not like something that could possibly happen. But it was definitely realistic, but like shocking at the same time, you know?
I wanted to step out of my own zone and my little safety zone and try something out that was different for me. I don't really get a lot of these roles, so when I put the script down, I was like, you know what? With the climate that we're in right now, I feel like this would be the perfect script a little bit, and yeah, so I loved it as soon as I read it.
So when you're preparing for a role like this, for each one of you, how are you thinking you're going to get into that space and have people understand who these people were?
I think the first idea is to not treat your character like as a victim. So like I see I felt like when I read the script and I was breaking down these characters, I made sure that I put intent behind every single thing, you know? I think that knowing that she was validated into doing all that she was doing, whether it was because, okay, she lacked love, now she finally has love, and it's like, well, she deserves to keep love, you know? Um, it was just one of those things to where you just gotta kind of substitute certain feelings that you've had before in your real life and know like, okay, this is what could possibly get me to that extreme, you know, this feeling can possibly get me to doing this or doing that or um so yeah.
I just really wanted to make sure that people could see the perspective of the police from a young black male's, from his perspective. I can mirror that and to see what we see them as and see what they see us as, and to see that sometimes we can have a meeting ground that we come to and maybe understand each other at some point and understand that we're both human beings and that we both make mistakes and we're both not perfect. I think with these two characters, this doesn't happen often where you have a young man off the streets and a police officer hitting licks together. Like, I don't think that's very common. So I just really wanted that to be the main thing that stood out. This is different. This is original.
I wouldn't say research, but like studying other movies with similar situations and similar characters, trying to see like what made them all connect, you know, on what was like the I guess the base of it all, and trying to figure out how D could relate to those the female characters in those films.
I would like to say, as for Trey, it wasn't so much research, as Raven said. I really actually took some of my own personal life because, I am a young black man. So is Trey. I am around the same age that he is. And I think we deal with police from a fear perspective, from a fear mentality. Um, but I also really wanted to make it a point to where every once in a while, maybe we can use that fear and turn it into a power.
Mm.
And we can actually use this to our advantage. And I know that's not the best thing, but I just wanted that to be seen from two different views. That yes, okay, we're normally afraid of them, but maybe we can also, if we form a bond with them, maybe we can manipulate this for the betterment of our own situations. So I just really wanted to put those two in there. And I just took that from my own personal life, being 28 years old and having to deal with policemen being more afraid of them than looking at them as help my whole life. So that's basically where that came from.
I love a story that has layers, and I like the fact the way that you guys approached it. We were allowed to see the dynamics, the emotional dynamics behind each person, seeing that the pinpoints of that. And I think that, Raven and T as well, I think you brought a little bit of like humanity and sensibility to those people, which I think we would have dehumanized them had we not seen the layers. So I think that's important.
First day we met was actually the first day of set, and it was actually the scene that we did. The first scene that we did was the scene of us meeting in the film, and it was actually the first time of us meeting in real life. So I think that helped with that specific day. But no, he's mad cool, and I think he made me very comfortable. And it's just always dope to like work with people who who are more open and just more just chill, and you're able to change stuff with, and you're able to have input with. And I think having that comfortability allowed us to have good chemistry.
Raven, she's all right. She's all right. No, she's a very talented actress, and as she said, she allowed me, to collaborate with her, which a lot of actresses, aren't too open to where we would sit over on the side and be like, I know the scene is written this way, but what about if we kind of threw this in here because we have our own inputs? And for her to let me do that, and I just wanted to make sure that she was comfortable with whatever we were doing. And she, she's dope as hell to work with as well. So it was a plus for me.
Yeah. Well, I love the way that you portrayed your character, because very charming, first of all. I could totally understand why anybody would want to just be like, fall right into his arms. It's like, dude, this dude's got some game. Like, that whole scene where he's like, okay, chase me, you know what I mean? And she's like, okay. And like, what? I mean, I'm thinking, okay, you know what? Maybe some guys could take a little bit of lessons from the way he played it, which is awesome. Was that a choice you made, or was that the director saying, okay, play it this way? Because I really want to know.
No, I think I appreciate that, by the way. But I think I call it, as I've always called it, is the charm to disarm factor. And I think Trey had to charm Dee to disarm her of her, her militant side, so he could get to the real person that was inside. And that's some manipulators. Number one, that's what they do. And I think I also want to touch on the fact that, Dee's background was very shaky, and it was kind of bad for her, which turned her into who she became. But Trey's background wasn't the greatest as well. And I think a person who thinks like that and who manipulates other people in that fashion, I feel like something about his background wasn't okay as well. So it's just like you said, there's different layers to how these relationships form and how people become who they are.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's this happy, charming, manipulative guy, but that comes from somewhere. That comes from a person that may have to do that to get what he wants, and this is the only way he knows how.
Right. And that's why I like it, because that layer is there and you can feel it. You didn't have to even know about, Trey's background to get that layer of where he was coming from. So I think it was a perfect blend, and we could definitely see how this tragic, consequence unfolded.
What's so crazy? You know how you only see situations when you are on the outside of it? When you're in a situation, like it's not like as clear. I wasn't in a situation, but it's like seeing it makes you realize, like, okay, now I know, like, sometimes it's not good to love as hard, And I know that Dee didn't see it as she was like actually going through it, but like being on the outside looking in is like, what are you doing? Yeah. Come on, get it together. And I got that. Like, I got that. Like, okay, be more aware of that. Because I feel like us as females, just in general, we automatically, we love hard. We're
absolutely
do the, we are like nurturers at the end of the day. And it's like, we don't even see that, like, when it's right there in front of our face, that, some men or just people in general can take advantage of that. So it's like, be more aware, don't second guess the first signs when you see it.
I would take this from an actor's point of view. I was really comfortable working with an actor, director, director and Michaels. I took from this is like, I feel like I like working with actor directors a lot, just because they understand how we talk and what feelings, emotions that we're going through before we go into the scenes, and they make it a lot more comfortable. So one thing I could take away from this is that, and one thing is allowing us to put our own inputs into it. Like I said, you know, Raven and I had a fair amount of input that we were able to put into this. And, you know, if I could take away anything, is for future projects is to speak up about things that you may feel like your character wouldn't do or your character wouldn't wear or say. And don't be afraid of, you know, you want to please everybody. Let's kind of try to cater more to the viewers, because the viewers are going to see this and be like, I don't think they would have done that. So you have that intuition, man, just go ahead and go for it. That's what I took away.
I say to be aware of your mental health and be aware of, you know, your past situations, past your upbringing, and see how that affects you. And if it affects you in a negative way, then, you know, get help. You know, don't find help or seek help within people, because sometimes people don't have, you know, the best intent for you. You're only going to look out for you as you're going to be the only one that out for you, you know, with the best intent. So I always just make sure that you put yourself first, and before you try to put that love and that I guess satisfaction in someone else.
I would want the viewers to take away. I would say if us as people are on one side and the police are on another side, I would say let's not normalize the situation that's going on right now, but let's humanize each other and realize that we're not perfect, that we're all humans. And I feel like if you're going to take away anything from this, understand that we're all just people and we are all going to make mistakes and do good and do bad. So just watch this movie with an open mind and not be like, oh, I hate the cops. Actually see what kind of cop D. Johnson was. So yeah, November 16th, Monday.
I enjoyed the film a lot, and I think you're right, Taquan. I think that, you know, understanding that sensibility between, you know, the good and the bad cop, and knowing that you said all cops aren't that way. And I think for young people, and Raven, you're right. I think that if we can just find our space, even when we're broken, and we can see in her character, you know, when Dee tried to help her friend, you know, the young lady that she ended up putting in a shelter, you could see the pain in her face when she's like, oh my God, I didn't save her. You know, she couldn't save herself, but she wanted to save somebody else. So
right, yeah.
So people want to follow your journey and follow you on social media. So what are your social media handles?
My social media handle is at Raven Ferrell, RAYVENFERRELL on all platforms.
Okay.
And mine is at T-Rich, TDASHRICH on all platforms as well. And be sure to use the hashtags Blood on the Badge, represent BOHB.
Well, guys, thank you so much. I'll be following both of you because I love your work and I want to see so much more. So again, congratulations. Blood on Her Badge, November 16th. We're there. All right, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful day and have a fantastic weekend. Love talking to you.
Thank you.